Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Pretenders or Contenders Coaches Show. I'm your host, Coach Devon Powell, head coach at Law High School, and my co-host, the Midnight Rider, who's joining us now.
What's going on, buddy? Not much. It's probably gonna be a quick hit because I forgot about interview I'm doing with these guys at Highly Opinionated at 7:15 or so. But I wanted to check in with you.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't think he was coming on today.
You had a big win, so I wanted to congratulate you on that and just hear your thoughts on it before I get out of here.
All right, appreciate it. We discussed that. We played against Northwestern High School this weekend, last Friday night at Northwestern. My Spartans came out and took care of business. We looked a little sloppy though. I think as I messaged you the other day, I wasn't happy with the amount of penalties we had. I think we had 19 penalties, and a few of them, I almost got kicked out the game for because it is a little outrageous. I had to argue a little bit, man, because they're taking this this new emphasis on celebrating a little bit too far.
Got you.
I can understand the penalties where you standing over somebody, taunting, or doing something directly in somebody's face. But we got one penalty the other night where my linebacker came up and made a good play. We went back to the huddle. He was a good 15 yards away from the other team, and he was just celebrating. He was just yelling. He was just pumped up, excited.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't in anybody's face. Was looking towards the end zone, to be honest. And they gave him a 15-yard penalty for that. And I went a little ballistic after that one because a few minutes before that, one of their players had made a good play, and this kid does a whole backflip in the middle of the field, and there was no penalty. So, yeah, I got a little heated over that one, man. But we did win the game 34-0. Nothing but respect for Coach Pierre over there at Northwestern. And he's been there for a while, and he's a good guy, good coach. They just, they struggle like some of the other schools up here in the northern part of the county. They just can't get the kids out.
Right.
I think he had a total of maybe 24 on the roster, and they don't have a JV. So same thing as schools like Bladensburg and Parkdale and High Point. Our schools up here on the northern side, we just struggle with keeping the kids there and involved. So but he does a great job, man. He works hard. So nothing but respect for him. But we should have we could have easily scored 70 points that game and should have. Like I said, we had the 19 penalties, and then we also had 5 turnovers. We had we fumbled 3 punts, and they recovered an onside kick to start the game, and I forgot what the other turnover was. But it was too many. It was way too many.
I got you.
Yeah, but that was the negatives of it. But offensively, we rushed for 275 yards on the ground. It was a good day for our backs. We used multiple backs that game. It was a good day on the ground. Our O-line did a great job of sustaining blocks and moving people and getting up to the next level. You have through 275 yards on the ground. Of course, the passing game is not that much involved. So I think we only had maybe 38 passing yards, but
okay.
On three completions, and 2 of those were touchdowns. So I got number 7. He caught one for about it's about a 20-yard touchdown. And my other receiver, number 9, Kenneth Cosmos, he had a touchdown reception for about 8 yards, I think it was. Kenneth also had another reception during the game as well. So defensively, we just pretty much, outside of their first drive where they got down inside the 10 and then we recovered a fumble, we pretty much, shut them down defensively. My D tackle, Sean Inye, he had a big game. Couple tackles for loss. Jabrilla Bangor, my defensive end, number 22, had a couple sacks, had a couple tackles for loss, and multiple tackles. So he had a great game. My linebackers, for once, were coming downhill, making contact, and we put together a good game defensively. Had some stuff we got to clean up. We got Suitland coming in this week, so that's going to be a big game for us. They're a good team. Got a lot of talent on the team and very aggressive. So, we back to the drawing board this week to get ready for that one.
Another attempt to go 1-0.
Yep, another attempt to go 1-0. We take it week by week, man. So, good day for us. There's a lot of action in the county this weekend, man, and we'll cover the big one later, where I'll discuss Wise and Flowers County season, a nice rivalry game for them. So we'll discuss that later when we got Coach Damian Powell joining us from Charles Flowers High School to discuss, his team's victory and that game and what they're looking like going forward this season. So,
okay, all right, cool, man. Mm-hmm. I'm a bounce.
Anything else you want to touch on before you get out of here?
Say that again. I missed what you said.
I was saying anything you wanted to touch on before you go?
No.
I'm breaking up.
We good. I think it's on my side.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But I'll hit you up later on. If you're still going, I'll jump back in later.
All right, that'll work, man. Have a good show.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, you too. All right, that was a little recap of my game that I had this week, man. We'll touch on some other PG County action. We had Bladensburg taking on Duval this week, man, and Duval pulled that game out 59-0. Again, we talked about the game, Charles Flowers and Wise, and we'll touch base on that in a little bit. Roosevelt took on Parkdale this weekend. I think Roosevelt defeated them 36-0. Suitland went up against Oxon Hill. Close game there, good battle. Oxon Hill came on top of that one, 21-18. Let's see, and then other action. Bowie took on Potomac. It was a close game at the half. Potomac was up 14-12, but then the second half they stretched it out and defeated Bowie 48-12. And let me see who else we got. Sorry, fellas, just having a little technical difficulties on my end over here. I don't know what's going on with my equipment today. Just give me 1 second and we get back on the rest of the scores. All right, I always say we played against Northwestern. We won that game 34-0. Then we had this is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Crossland and Largo played each other. Largo won that game 42-6. Frederick Douglass took on Surrattsville, and that was a 42-0 win for Frederick Douglass. Fremont Heights, looks like they had a good battle against Gwynn Park. Gwynn Park came out victorious, 27-26. And then we had Friendly and Central faced each other. Central won that game 16-14. And I think that's it. Yeah, those are our scores for this week in PG County. A lot of good action. Like I said, we're in the heart of our season right now, man. And we got a couple of good games coming up that we'll discuss towards the end of the show. Um, it's one of those things where, each week in PG County, the opponent gets tougher. Matchups get harder and harder, and there's no such thing as a sure win anymore, man. And teams are getting at it. We got a couple of teams that are struggling. Um, and it happens this time of year. Um, but we'll see where we're at tomorrow when we get the updated state point standings from MPSSAA. They updated on Tuesdays, and that's where you can track all the playoff action, playoff seeding as things go along. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're gonna be joined shortly by Coach Damon Powell, head coach of Charles Flowers High School, so we can discuss that big game between Wise and Flowers. It's always a good game when they meet up. Flowers came up on top this year, 17-6. It was a good game back and forth early in the action. I didn't get to see the second half as my game was getting started. Had a big crowd down there, 3,000 tickets sold for that game. Some of the events afterwards was a little disheartening. Some of our young people just don't know how to act when they get to these games, man. And, this stuff has to get under control because we don't want to make it to the point where, PG County has to start doing something drastic like they did out in D.C. And, you're not going to be allowed to come to games unless you're with your parent, or, they might just cut out fans coming to the games at all. And that will be very disappointing. We like for our family and friends to come in and watch our games and support. We like to play in front of our classmates and things of that nature. So it would be really frustrating for us to have to do something like that if we can't get these things under control. Young people just come to the game, man. Enjoy the game. There ain't nothing wrong with a little trash talking, but it should never be taken to the point where we're getting into fights and stuff over, like I said, it's a game. It's a high school football game. It's supposed to be fun, supposed to be exciting. And it just needs to stop. A couple of comments coming through. My guy, Coach Moot, rules similar to the DC games coming. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. Like I said, if the young people are coming to the games they're going to have to stay there with their parents, so they're not going to be allowed in there. Coach Marcus, Coach, if you could change the post-game procedure from PG, what would it be? That's a good question. I don't think I'd really change up anything, to be honest. I think that as far as with the teams, I don't think I would change anything. As far as fans, maybe you have to let one set of fans out beforehand. Get to the point where nobody can linger after games. After the game is over, we got to clear out. The teams won't leave until and get on the bus or into the locker rooms until the stadium is empty. Immediately after the game, everybody just has to go. You got to get in your cars and go home. That would call for more security and more police presence at the games. So I don't know, man. I think we just really need to get these kids. They got to act right, man, and it starts at home. Parents need to be telling their kids, how to act out in public, man, and don't be going out there embarrassing yourselves or us, because that's where it starts at. Coach Jerome said, I remember the year after COVID, people didn't know how to act, and they moved all Friday games to Saturday. And, that would be disheartening too, man, because, kids look forward to those Friday night games, especially us at Law. We didn't have Friday night games until we opened up the stadium last year and got the lights. So we look forward to playing on Friday nights. At Law, we have a good crowd. I'm not saying that we ain't never had no issues, but we have a good crowd. It's exciting. As a lot of coaches say, we got the light show up there, man, that, we like to display. So it'd be disheartening to have to move all games to Saturday. But we'll see, man. Like I said, we just got to get these kids under control, man. Let's see. Another question from my guy Anthony. Coach, as a person who coaches high school football, do you feel the player safety rules have caused more injuries than they actually help because of the limited practices you have throughout the season? Anthony, this I don't think that's the cause of it. Um, we do have rules where we're limited to the amount of contact practices we can have each week, and that includes games as well. I don't think that is contributing to the injuries, to be honest. Um, I think that the players have gotten more athletic, bigger, faster, and stronger. And we're seeing more collisions at a high speed. Um, and I think that a lot of players that are getting injured, some of it has to do with overworking your bodies. There's a big problem on the youth level where football is being played all year round, um, and those kids are getting burnt out. And on the high school level, man, you're playing multiple sports, which I'm great with multiple sports. I love multiple sport players, athletes. But it could, when you're doing something all year long, you're training. That's constant wear and tear on your body. And then another issue is, a lot of the kids these days don't eat properly. You're not fueling your body, you're not hydrating properly. So all of those things contribute into to injuries. So I'm not just going to pinpoint it on um, the limited practices, but there's a lot of things that go into that. Anthony, I appreciate that was a good question. Appreciate that one. So and it's one of those things. I know the NFL does it a lot. Not saying they do a good job or not of it, but they do look at year to year on things that could help the game get better. I think college and then down to the high school level and the youth level. I think our governing bodies do look at different ways where they can help prevent injuries. A few years ago, when we experienced some athletic deaths from heat things. We had some rules changed to the heat acclimation periods for our players at the beginning of practice. Concussions have been a big issue in the sport for a while, and the rules are constantly changing, and they're coming up with ways to help us, kind of prevent concussions and protect ourselves a little better. So it's a constant thing, man. Any activities that you're playing, any sport, not just football, any sport you're playing, there's a risk for injuries. Us as coaches, we got to do our job to prepare the kids the right way. Um, the kids need to take care of their bodies, eat healthy, and and try to prevent as many injuries as possible. Can't prevent them all, but to try to limit some of them will be a good thing, and we all just have to work towards. Mhm. Again, we're just waiting on our guest, Coach Flower, Coach Powell, Flowers High School. I know he's this is around the time that he wraps up practice, so I'm sure he's going to be joining us from the football field. So once he gets on, we'll discuss that big game. As we're waiting for him, we'll talk about what's going on in the county this week coming up. Man, we got some big 4A matchups going on in the county this week. We'll start with my game again. We Law High School. We're taking on Suitland High School. They're coming up to the 300 on Friday night at 7 p.m. All is welcome out there. Come experience the light show. It's going to be a tough battle. Suitland's an aggressive, physical team. They got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Got a young quarterback that I spoke on in the show before that I just love the way he plays. They got some defensive players that like to come downhill and will hit you. Um, so that's going to be a big game for us. Before I go on, I got another comment in here. So what is the rule about excessive celebration? That's from my guy, Kirsten at MFV, All Sports Network. Appreciate you stopping by the 300 last Thursday night as well for our JV game. They're just doing So the excessive celebration rule, they're just emphasizing, they're trying to get the taunting out of the game. And we've seen it on the NFL level as well, and in college. But in high school, they got an emphasis this year on just celebrating, man. And like I was saying earlier, I can understand. You make a big hit and you standing over top of somebody talking trash, or you signaling in somebody's face, or you flexing in somebody's face. Okay, that's excessive. I don't like that part of the game. But if you're with your guys and with your teammates and you're celebrating a big play or something that happened, as long as it's not in a derogatory way, I don't think that should be considered excessive celebration or considered a personal foul. The example I gave earlier, like I said, one of my linebacks made a big play, came back here, made a good tackle, and he walked back with his teammates and was celebrating, and they gave him a penalty. Now, when I asked for the explanation, the referee told me that he called a guy, a derogatory word, but he was nowhere near the guy. So I'm like, how did he say something to him when the guy's back in the huddle and my guy's with his teammates celebrating? And he couldn't explain it to me. It was cricket. And like I said, they had a guy did a backflip in the middle of the field, and they never called the penalty. And the referee was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I should have called the penalty." What do you mean you should have called the penalty? If you're gonna call it one way, call it both ways. So that's why I was a little upset about these referees we got, but that's another soapbox for another day. Coach, I keep telling, come party on the sidelines with Coach. Ain't no flags over. Yeah, ain't no flags over there, man. But I don't know. That crew we had Friday night was a little flag happy, man. I don't know what them guys was looking at, man, and it seemed like all of them was coming towards us. So I don't know if they was trying to keep the game close, trying to keep it fair, but hey, man, we ain't hurt nobody, man. Let the kids play football. And then that was a reason why the game didn't end till about 9:35. It was a high school football game that went 2.5 hours long. That's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right, Coach Powell just hit me up. He said he'd be joining and give him a couple more minutes. Like I said, he's wrapping up practice right now. He'll be coming on at 7:30 to talk about the game this week. All right, but we'll get back to the upcoming games this week. I just touched on our game, Law versus Suitland, Friday night. We got Northwestern taking on Eleanor Roosevelt this week. We got Bladensburg taking on Parkdale. Flowers High School. They'll be taking on Duval High School. And we'll get a little preview from Coach Powell when he joins us today. Let's see. Let's say Suitland will be coming against us. Those are the 4A matchups for the week. Do we have any 4A, 3A teams? I can't remember if anybody in the county is 4A, 3A this year. I know Suitland used to be Oxon Hill. Oxon Hill's 4A, 3A this year, so they'll be going against Potomac. That'll be a big game. Potomac and Oxon Hill. The battle of Oxon Hill there, they're rivals, close in proximity. So that should be a good game there. In the comment, I got Coach Vic over at Blake High School. Good Lord, 9:30. Yeah, that's the same thing I was saying, Vic. That game just felt like it just went on forever. I didn't get home till 11:30 that night, Friday night. Coach Mook said that's the Community Bowl. That's he's talking about Potomac and Oxon Hill. That's going to be a big game, man, because both of those teams are undefeated right now, 3-0. So it's going to be a good physical game. I know Coach Crump at Potomac going to have those guys ready to go. And then Coach Jeffries, man, he's always cooking up something down in Oxon Hill. And that's going to be a big one there. Going to be a good one. Let's see. We got any 3A schools, just 3A. I don't think we have any because of Shooting and moving. Then on the 2A side, yeah, I just had to bear with me today, man. I was rushing in here. All right, so we got Crossland. It's going to be taking on Douglas. And we got Fairmont Heights. We'll be playing friendly this week. And Gwynn Park will be playing against Largo. That should be a good game there. Then when we get down to our 1A teams, we ain't got no 1A. They've all moved to 2A, 1A. They've changed all the alignments this year. So I can't remember where the heck everybody is. Okay, there we go. I was looking for Central. Yeah, Central and Ratchfield will be playing in the 2A, 1A. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my guy, Coach Damon Powell, Charles Flowers High School, coming off
Yeah,
that big victory uh, Friday evening or early evening against Wise High School. What's going on, Coach?
what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you coming on with me, man. Talk a little bit, man. You know, it's a
Yes,
big
sir. Yes,
win,
sir.
man.
It's great to be here, man. Yeah, yeah. It was a great game, man. It was definitely a great atmosphere. So I'm glad to be on the winning side of this one.
Yeah, man, this is one of the premier big matchups in the county every year. Um, and you guys, you know, y'all can say you're rivals. Y'all battled it out each. It's always a close game each year, man. And this one was no different. I did get to watch the first half of it as we was traveling in Northwestern. So didn't get to see the second half. But it looked like you guys were in control most of the game.
Hey, coach, I broke up. Can you repeat that for me?
Yeah, I was just saying it looked like you guys came out ready to go, man, and y'all was in control most of the game.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually they came out and scored first on us, man, and we was a little flat coming out, maybe the jitters, I don't know, but they had a successful drive and scored. But after that we ran off about 17 unanswered points. We had some crucial stops in the game. Defense came up big. Our offensive line and our running back, and man, we just decided to punch the ball down. Run the ball a lot and punch the ball down and throw it as much as we can. So that was the game plan going in, and it turned out to be okay.
Gotcha. So as y'all was heading into the game, man, like I said, it's one of those things where you guys have been rivals for a few years now, man. So how easy or how hard was it to get your boys ready to go for this game?
Oh man, it was easy. I mean, they was ready to go from the jump. Everybody can't wait to the Wise versus Flowers game. They call it the DMV Super Bowl, whatever they call it. But it was, we had a great practices. We actually missed pretty much the practice because there was a lot of rain and we couldn't get into the gym. So we did a lot of board work and things of that nature. So it turned out pretty good, man. We had some good practices and they was ready to play.
Mhm. So what is one thing that you take out of that game, man? You know, it's an early matchup this year, week 3. Like you said, your boys were ready to go. So coming out of that victory, man, how do you get your boys ready to go for their next opponent this week?
Well, I told the coach staff, man, and shout out to my coaching staff because they was excellent, man. But we raising the stakes. We making the practice even harder now. You know what I mean? Because don't just because you win on week 3 and like I said, this is week 3. It's still early. We got to get better. We're not, our season is just beginning. So we want to make sure we make
Yep, hold on, we lost coach real quick.
You there,
Okay, there
Coach?
you go. Yep, you back now. Yep, can you hear us?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep, you good.
Okay, yeah. So we just wanted to make sure that we can make it to the end, man, and then making sure that that we hitting on all cylinders. But it's definitely a huge win for us. But it's not, it's just another game on the schedule, and we have to be ready to get better as a team all around, so we can be going into the playoffs. We can be hitting on all cylinders.
Gotcha. So tell me some of your guys that stood out this during the game, offensively and defensively. Can you hear me?
All right, let me see here. Coach, you there? Let
Yeah,
me
I'm here.
see.
Can you hear me? All right, we'll see if we can get him back in there. A couple comments real quick. Coach had them boys ready. It's from Coach Marcus.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear
All
me?
right, good. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, man. I'm on the field. Just we wrapped up, so I'm just
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. I
yeah.
was asking who was some of your stars on the offensive side and defensive side during that game? Who stepped up
Man,
big time?
yeah. Offensively, Cody Gardner, man, he rushed over 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and on defense, our whole offensive line, man, they did an excellent job, just blocking, and it was this unselfish play. Everybody was just playing for each other, so that was a good thing. Defensively, Tiger Williams, man, our middle linebacker. I mean, he had over 13 tackles, and he was just running all around the field with our defensive line, man. Those guys, man, were just stout up front, and they're very violent. So, and then our secondary came to play a little bit. With some of the DBs. What's up, Coach? With some of the DBs, they did very well. Eli, who's number 2, is a really good player, as well as that whole secondary with Kavar. Man, them guys are just violent players, man. They got a lot of football IQ, and they play well together, and they communicate well. So, yeah, I was very very happy for
All right, so coming into the game, man, defensively, what was the game plan? Wise is known to be explosive. The week before, I ain't gonna fake. They put up 65 against my boys, man. So, they can put up points quickly, but you guys held them to 6 points. So, what was the game plan, or what was the key to focus on during the game?
Well, just stopping no big plays. Make sure they earn everything. For us, they gotta be able to. I think we had a really good defense. They have to be able to drive the field and score. So
Mhm.
I believe that I believed in our defense, and I believe that we had the defense that can stop them. I gotta give them a shout out, man. They're a very tough team. The very good coaching staff. And they're gonna be fine, and they'll get out, they'll come back and be even stronger next time we see them. So, but the game plan was just making sure they don't get nothing easy, and then for us, man, it's just to be physical up front and drive the ball down, as much as they can by running the ball. So, all that came in. It turned out in our favor this time, but we're just not satisfied. It's just week 3. And you got to take it one game at a time. So, but we're gonna take this victory. We're enjoying it.
Yes. Speaking of that, going forward, man, how do you feel about your team going forward in
Man, I think
these next couple weeks?
yeah, man, I think we got a really good team. We got a lot of depth. I really see us at the end. Depending on how well we can stay healthy and keep our guys, together. But I really like this team. They play hard for each other. They have a very good brotherhood. They actually like each other, and so
Hmm.
that's a big part of it. And then our coaching staff also, man, we're gelling, and we like each other too. We're not going back and forth and meetings and all that and this and that. So we're kind of vibing too. So man, we're doing a good job, man, and we'll see at the end, man. When you get to the playoffs, it's just another season, so anything can happen.
Yeah. One thing with me, and I ain't ashamed to say, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna speak how I want to speak. I don't care if nobody likes it or whatever. But your next three opponents coming up, man. You got Duval, Parkdale, and Bladensburg, and honestly, you guys should be able to get through those easily, as long as you stay healthy, man. But then when you get down towards the end of the season, you got Oxon Hill, Potomac, and Suitland. Um, and we know how those teams are. They're always going to be physical. They're always going to be aggressive, man. So what do you think about those three games towards the end of the season, and how does that get y'all ready for the playoffs?
Oh, those games, man, they're going to be physical and well coached teams, and I feel really good about it because I really love this team and the way they are and they operating. But every week for us is a challenge, and we're trying to get everybody. We're building our football IQ. We're in the classroom. We're doing the chalkboard. We're teaching, and that's what it's all about for us. And then trying to get everything out of it, all the stress of our guys that we know that's on this team, making sure that we're capitalizing in their strengths. So when we play against those teams, even though they're going to be well, oiled up by them, but so are we. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be some good games, but quality games. But we're trying to get this number one seed going into the playoffs.
Just real quick, I got a question from Coach Marcus. Said, Coach, question: what do you use as motivation having your best PG County opponents early in the season?
Well, for us, what we did was we had a tough preseason scrimmage schedule. So we wanted to challenge our guys. We wanted to put some of the best teams in front of them, so they know what to expect. So that was the biggest thing for us. Um, we don't want, we started at August 13th. We couldn't go to any camps. We couldn't do anything extra. We started day one at August 13th. So it just took us a little bit of time to get the offense clicking a little bit, but defensively we was playing well from the start, and all we are just trying to get better week by week. But the best opponents, it's a good feeling to see these opponents early, and we understand that those opponents that we play early is going to be different coming in the playoffs. So we just want to make sure that we focus on ourselves and get better week by week. So therefore, it won't even matter.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm gonna change hats for you real quick. Being the
All right,
president of the coaches association, man. So, we like to look after all our teams, man. So
for
what
sure.
have you seen out of PG County ball so far? I know watched a lot of ball. I know you've seen a lot of film, as all of us coaches have. So what have you seen out of the county so far this season?
I think we got some really, really good teams, man. I seen a lot of great athletes out there. I seen the coaching is getting a lot better from what I'm looking at. It's even some of the teams that usually are down, they're playing a lot better. Like I'm looking at Central and they're doing very well. Like I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
our county is getting is definitely pushing forward. So. I'm very excited about that, and I think that all comes to the us as association coming together. We came together. We went to the professional developments, the clinics, and all that just to talk ball, talk football, and the camaraderie that we was having. All that matters, and I think with all these athletes, because we got some great athletes in Prince George's County. Um,
Hmm.
it's just putting it all together. Gwen Park's doing well. I looked over there; they doing well. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just a lot of great athletes and great coaches, man. So I'm very excited about the county right now.
Hmm.
One thing we just got to get better at is maybe the participation, getting more kids out. Uh, you know what I mean? Like, it's the depth, the JV teams. All that matters, man. Having the JV teams and development and all that, it really matters. And that's what we need to start pushing a little bit more. Maybe trying to find a way to get our eighth graders or whoever having eighth grade football, middle school football, something like that, just to get this more football players out participating.
Gotcha. So another question for you, my guy Kirsten from MFB All Sports Network. He said, "What's the biggest change from last year you implemented this season?"
Well, we was very young last year. We had a bunch of ninth and 10th graders, so a lot. The biggest change was just putting, just being more consistent and with the guys, and then the word I use a lot here is being intentional. And we're trying to be intentional in our drills and our practice schedule, making sure we transitioning from period to period. We just being real intentional with the little things that we're doing, and just not being just flying off the hip with things. So when we start doing that and being more intentional, scripting more intentional, everything, just every little detail, it tends to get the practices are moving faster. You're working with a reason, with a why. You know what I mean, and everything's moving.
Got it. All right, a couple more comments. This is my defensive coordinator. He had to put out there that he was a Flowers alum.
Big shout
Um,
out, yeah. That's a shout
yeah,
out to
he just got
yeah.
his ass. He just got his ass fired. No, then he says it's still Kentucky 300. I can't get fired.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of alumni on our coaching staff too, man. That's one thing big about when we try to put together a coaching staff is just having guys that really care about, not only care, but they bleed your school. So it was
Hmm.
just it's very important to bring some alumni coaches back so they can get back to the program. So yeah, big shout out to alumni.
Yeah, that's one thing we did over at Law as well that I've been doing the last couple of seasons is trying to get as many alumni, especially guys that I've coached over the last few years, man, come in and because they just have a sense of pride about coaching that school that they came from. Nothing against
Yes, sir.
outsiders that come in because we're
Right.
about half and half, but those young guys coming back and giving back, man, it just helps develop the program, man.
Yeah, for sure, man, definitely. And not only that, there's guys that maybe that came under you, they understand how you do things. So that matters
Hmm.
too. So, all we got to do now is just mold them, make sure they still young. So just make sure they maturing and doing things the right way. So that's the biggest thing. But outside of that, man, it's always great to have the alumni come back and give back.
Yeah, because they can come back and say, Coach Devon used to cuss me out for this, so don't do this because
Yeah, yeah.
Another comment, Coach Moot said middle school ball will be big for the county and get rid of some of the problems within youth ball.
Absolutely.
Um,
I really support that. I wish we can bring middle school ball to the county. I mean, even we started with flag. I mean, that's a start. But I mean, I just think we need to get that going, man.
right, right. So, all right, Coach, man, I know you just finished practice. So I ain't going to keep you too much longer, but, what's one thing? Hey, man, this is your moment to talk shit to the county, man, and to the state, man. What you going to tell them? Tell them about them Jaguars from Flowers.
Look, man, I used to talk a lot of smack, man, but when you start talking smack and then you get humbled, it don't feel too good. So I'd rather stay away from talking a whole bunch of smack. But I will say, if you do face this Jaguar team, man, you're gonna face a team that's just hungry. You're gonna face a team that's violent. You're gonna face a team that's gonna give a lot of effort and attitude and everything they got. So whatever it is, whoever we play, is going to be a really good game.
Got you, man. I should have downloaded that meme of you walking out on the stage that they posted about you, man. 'Cause
Hey,
when
that
I
was
was-
crazy. Hey, that was crazy. I'm like, oh man, AI at its best. I tell you.
right, right. Well, all right,
Yeah,
coach. Look, since we don't play each other this year, unless we meet in the playoffs, I can say good luck the rest of the season, man, and,
hey,
and
for
actually
sure,
mean it
man.
for once. Yeah, I can actually mean it for once. So,
I appreciate you, brother. You know I always do it, and I love what you're doing here, man. And this platform you put down, man. I love it. Thank you, man.
yes, indeed, man. Congrats on the big win again, man, and good luck this week, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, for sure. Let me just say this, man. I just want to say thanks to all my coaching staff, my Jaguar community, man. They've been really been helpful with the school community. and Principal Dr. Brown. So I mean, everybody's been pretty good, man. And so I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to be on your podcast, man. I want to say thanks to everybody, and big shout out to all the PG coaches out there as well.
All right. Appreciate that, Coach.
All righty.
All right. We'll be talking soon.
All right, peace.
All right. It's Coach Damon Powell, Charles Flowers, head football coach, discussing their big win against Wise High School this week and talking about the team going forward, man. And, let me get into appreciate him coming on. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was waiting to see who's gonna win that game because I was gonna get either one of them on there, him or Coach Rapp, to talk about the game. But a couple of more comments in the chat. Coach Moose said, "Why don't we have middle school ball?" It's easy to answer that one. The county don't want to pay for it. Football is the most expensive sport, and they ain't trying to put up that money. So that's why we ain't got it. Coach O'Shea, this is his first time commenting on the show, and he come with this bowl. And we know you graduated from Flowers class of 2014, but you part of the 300 now, so that don't even matter. Coach Jerome said he ain't get fired today. The day ain't over with. You still can get fired. Don't worry about that. And you too, Marcus. You can get fired today too. Oh man, look, it was a quick show tonight, man. Like I said, my co-host Midnight Rider had to go on to another show. We discussed week 3 recap in PG County. Talked about the games coming up this week, man, and we gearing up for week 4, man. Week 4 got some good matchups coming. I'm really, really excited, man, and looking forward to my guys lining up against Suitland on Friday night, man. Be a good test of where we are. Like I said, Coach Hale has those guys playing hard down there. They're physical, they're fast. And my guys, they're slowly getting better. We're slowly getting better. Things are improving. Like I said, we had a great game on the ground this week, 275 yards rushing. And we just ready, man. I'm excited. I hate Monday through Thursday, because I'm ready for Friday nights, man. So, and it's unfortunate that we got a short week of practice this week because we got a religious holiday tomorrow, so the teams can't practice. So, short week. We getting ready for Friday night. A couple more comments here, Coach. As we hear, what's your favorite Spartan uniform combination? To be honest, my favorite combination is all white. I love when we wear the all white. I wish we could be white at home and not away, because I like wearing the all white under the lights, man. I think that looks best. Who's that? I know why you asked that, Coach Mark. Coach Jerome says black top, blue bottom. I don't want nothing to do with the black uniforms. Superstitious. All my coaches in the chat going back and forth about uniforms. I don't care what we wear. Whatever we wear, we better get out there and win it. That's what we better do on the JV and the varsity level. So that's your answer, Coach Mark. Whatever we wear, we better get out there and get that W. So I don't care if we come out there in bright fuchsia or something like that. We better get the daggone W. All right, guys. Well, this is it for tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short tonight. Give y'all a couple more minutes of your life back. Because I'm starving. I'm ready to eat some dinner, and I'm tired. Even though I don't smell no dinner right now. I don't know what's going on upstairs, but I don't know. I don't smell no dinner. Coach Mook, we might be in the same boat tonight, buddy. You know what's going on here. All right, man, but I appreciate y'all joining in with us, man. And next week we have another great show lined up for you. Just confirming my my guest for next week. But as John Thompson used to say, we don't do no overtime. You right, Coach. Yeah, man. I don't know what happened, man. We in the same boat, but something ain't right because I still ain't smelled nothing. And I know she listening in, but I don't smell no dinner. But let me go see what's going on up here. So I'll catch y'all next week. Everybody have a good evening. Appreciate y'all joining us tonight.